Am I live? Can people see me? I hope so. Well, it says I'm live according to my phone. I just got a pop-up notification that I'm live, so. Woo! Hi everyone! How is everyone doing? Hopefully you can hear me. If you can't for some reason, let me know. So let's see. There are like so many of you waiting for this stream to start, and I appreciate that so much. I love it when you all hang out before the stream because I get to read the chat when I'm like getting ready, and that's fun for me. My microphone is like in the way of my chat. Let me move some things around here. Okay, there we go. Yay! All right, there we go. Perfect. You bought a collar? Congrats. That's exciting. I've been saving up money to get some stuff from the Kitten collection, and I'll just put that in the chat now because I'm sure somebody at some point will ask where this is from, which is from the Kitten collection. Ooh, they have some new stuff, actually. Ooh, spicy, fancy. Okay. Do people do live streams where you like go shopping with them? Is that a thing? I mean, not like literally shopping all the way where you guys like see my credit card information, but like when you like window browse on the internet together and like look for stuff. Is that a thing people do? This is from the Kitten collection. I've literally been buying stuff from them for years at this point. Like 5 years, 6 years. I think it's Allie is the name of the gal that runs the shop. She runs it with her husband, and they don't, you know, necessarily know who I am, I guess, but their stuff is good, and they have biothane, which is, ooh, they have a wine-colored biothane. I didn't know that. So they have biothane, which is a really good vegan material for, collars and cuffs and stuff. I love it because it's waterproof, so if you want to wear this in, like, the shower, if it rains a lot where you live, you don't have to worry about it. So that's that, I guess. And they have some like really like cute stuff if you're into like even stuff for like littles and like and like more feminine kitten players. I think this stuff would be good. I'm kind of currently obsessed with this. Like, I'm gonna put this in the chat. Okay, sorry, really, we're completely derailed for the minute. But this is like I'm kind of obsessed with this. It's called the Vampira Black Ruffle Lace Red crystal collar. I'm not sure how I feel about the hardware on the front, but it's super cute. What do you guys think about that? Is that cute or what? Is it cute or not? Let me know. Because literally only collar I own is this one. I don't know what happened when I moved, if I either lost the collar that because I had like a plastic organizer that I had all my bandanas in, I had all my collars in, I had leashes in. And then when I moved, I don't know what happened to it. I don't know if I like accidentally donated it, in which case there's a Goodwill around here somewhere that ended up getting like a couple $100 of free BDSM gear that I've collected over years and years. So this is the only thing I have, and I really like some like other options. Like I really like something with like spikes on it maybe. Also, I painted my nails. I did ruin this finger. There's like a little divot. So I might paint that while we're streaming and just fix it. But I wanted to experiment today. The makeup is different. I brought black lipstick to put on because I was eating a waffle before I started streaming, and I was like, I don't want to get black lipstick over my waffle. That's gross. So I thought I'd put this on and try it out while we're on stream, because I have tried so many black liquid lipsticks, and I'm very particular. Okay? Because it has to have this kind of a brush where it's like, I think it's called a doe foot applicator. They make ones that are like a paddle, and I can't use those on my lips. They're like they're not like precise enough, and they're really messy. And Black Moon Cosmetics had this kind of applicator for a while, and then they switched to paddle applicators, and now they're going back to this. So FYI, be aware that not all of their lipsticks have this applicator on them. But I've tried a bunch of black liquid lipsticks, and almost all of them transfer and get on your teeth. And if I want to wear black lipstick when I film videos, I can't have that happen. Like, if you're in real life and, like, oops, you get a little, like, lipstick on your teeth, it's, like, not a big deal because you know, you can just wipe it off. But like when you spend 3 hours filming a video and you don't notice the tiny flake of black lipstick on your front tooth because your monitor is this big and you're far away from it, it's a problem. So anyways, now you guys know that story. Makeup, let's see, anything else people would want to know about before we get into the seriousness? Not that today's really a serious video at all. Shirt is a new shirt. It's from Black Craft. This is from Black Moon. This is from Black Craft, and I'm just wearing, so it's just a lip service dress. I don't know. I'm not sure if I like this together or not, but there's another dress that was the alternative lip service dress. That's on my bed. I was worried the pinstripe would be weird, so I don't know. This is like actual. Please focus, camera. Oh my god. Okay, so this is like actual like vintage lip service, and this is like a recent, not a reprint, but you know. Anyways, so I didn't know if the pinstripe or this would be cute, but I don't know. Anyways, fashion. Sometimes I feel like dressing up, but I don't like dressing up for live streams or like filming really, honestly, because it takes hours, and I like doing other things with my time, like cooking and making soap and watching YouTube videos. So anyways, I have thought about disposable applicators before, but the thing is like the handle's important, and I don't know if I could be as precise if I didn't have a little handle. But I'm sure I've looked on like Amazon and places, because this particular type of tube is really common, and I'm like, well, if I can find the component that they like, I'm sure I could find stuff that would literally just screw on the top of these bottles, because I have a couple of liquid lipsticks that are all like nice formulas, but they have the fucking paddle applicators on them, and so I never use them because I just can't, like, they're too messy. I don't know. I know. Okay, somebody knew. Somebody knew the Gangster Prankster collection. Yes, that is. I collect two things. I collect Lolita clothing, and I collect vintage lip service. I'm really into like 90s goth in particular, respect to the 80s goth, but like the 90s is where it's at for me, and so I love the lip service stuff, and it's really actually hard to find secondhand, to be honest. Like fucking buying like Japanese Lolita fashion is easier than tracking down vintage lip service, I swear to God. Oh my goodness. I am just getting into soap making. I do I make mostly other things. I make like bath salts and bath bombs and things like that. And that's sort of a hobby I've gotten into recently. But I go in and out of like doing it because it's like a pain in the butt to like clean all of the things afterwards. And I don't have, what I need to get is one of those thermometers, like the temperature guns. And I used to use one at like, you know, forever ago when I had like a shitty food service job. I had one. But I just like, it's like being like, oh, I got to set aside $50 to like spend on this thermometer. And so there's just like, I gotta make sure I have gloves. I gotta make sure, you know, I had a big like Pyrex mixing bowl that was like a 6 cup or a 4 cup big glass bowl with a handle. I used that for so much stuff and I broke it. So stupid. So I haven't done it as much lately, but yeah. Do you know someone who does wood turning? I do lathe work, and you can really easily handle the disposable ones that could be made. I know people that probably would use that as an excuse to make something. I actually know someone that keeps talking about how they want to buy a lathe, and so I hope they don't watch this, because they're gonna be like, see, look, this is why I need to buy a lathe, and I'm like, no, you don't do it. I have the pinstripe pants from the Gangster Prankster collection, and definitely some Killstar is similar, but vintage lip service is amazing. It's one of their best collections, IMO. The thing about Killstar, and I do own some Killstar things, is it's almost always a ripoff of something else. Like, there are so many Killstar items that are just like somebody vaguely remembered a lip service catalog and like redrew the design from memory and was like, let's produce this. Like, there's like actually, I think they have a dress that's kind of similar to this, and this is like Lip Service is making clothing again. I think they reopened like a couple of years ago, and they have very limited stuff, but they have really nice PVC stuff. I have a really cute PVC like bustier and leggings, and that is something that's, by the way, if you're into fetish fashion stuff, here's a tip. I like latex, but I don't wear it a lot because a lot of people are allergic to it. And so I don't want to be in a crowded dungeon and like bump into somebody with a latex allergy and like give somebody a skin rash or something. So I don't wear it in public a lot unless it's like a latex party, which hasn't happened in like 3 years. Thank you, COVID. So I wear a lot of PVC. PVC, however, especially if it's like cheaper or it's like 30 years old, doesn't necessarily last very well. And so buying especially like vintage PVC pieces or faux leather pieces, like they don't hold up that well over time. And so it's worth getting like newer stuff that's that material. Anyways, you guys want a closet tour sometime, I'll show you. This is the thing. I dress boring on purpose for videos because I'm one of those people where like when I film videos, I'm filming for like 4 hours usually, and I really don't want to be arsed to have to come up with like a cute, unique outfit in every video and have that be the standard. So like I just wear t-shirts, but I really love dressing up for like date nights, going out somewhere, going to dinner, going to a BDSM party. Like I like dressing up for that kind of a thing, but if it's like every day, I'm like, you guys are getting t-shirts and sweatpants. Like that's what you're gonna get. True, a friend and I still have some lip service catalogs, and they 100% ripped lip service. Some Killstar is nice, but it does bug me. They rip off others. They're not as bad as Dolls Kill. It's Dolls Kill, right? With the S's in the middle, not the end. I'm having like a Berenstain Bears moment. You guys know what I'm talking about? Where everyone thought Berenstain Bears was spelled differently than it actually was. I feel like that might help keep rude men away. I mean, listen, when I go out in public, especially because it's cold outside, I'm wearing a hat, I'm wearing a coat, I'm wearing fucking, like, not like sweatpants, like velour or whatever, but like I'm wearing like baggy pants, and I'm wearing boots and a mask. Like, you can't. This is what you can see of me, and I don't normally wear eye makeup out. Oh,
$10. Hi, Evie. I just wanted to let you know I introduced BDSM to my partner by having him overhear me listen to your videos all the time. Lol, they piqued his interest after a while.
yes.
I appreciate your content so much cause I'm shy, and that made it stress-free heart.
Oh, that's awesome. Yes, that is great. Yes, that is exactly, listen, use my videos this way because I know that having conversations about BDSM can be really hard, especially if you are shy and you're maybe in a long-term relationship and you're vanilla and you're like, oh, I don't want to mess things up because, right? I get it, totally. So, listen, it works. Put my videos on in the background, have conversations about them, be like, does that sound interesting to you? Love it, perfect. I am so happy for you. That is great. Exactly. And oh, by the way, so I realized stream goal is up there. By the way, I will give the intro now because we've been live for like 10 minutes and I haven't said it yet. So, quick reminders: 18 plus only live stream. If you are not at least 18, please do not be here. Also, please be sure to read the rules and the FAQ down below. This is like a general interactive Q&A live stream. So if you want to talk about fashion, if you want to talk about makeup, BDSM, polyamory, dating, asexuality, whatever, any intersection they're in, it's all good. I basically only really have a couple of core key guidelines. One is I generally answer questions in the order that they come in. So if you want to make sure that I answer your question, ask it now, ask it early, because I cannot promise I will get to everything. We usually don't. If you want to make sure I do answer your question, that is what super chats are for. You can either do that through Streamlabs, which is linked below, or you can go through YouTube. YouTube does take 30% of all super chats, so if you want to make sure Google is not getting free money out of your pocket, that is what Streamlabs is good for. So, and we do have a goal right now, which is I'm saving up money to get a new camera for YouTube, because as you guys may have noticed, my camera is dying, and even when I have it set to face eye detection and like I've tried every possible variation of focus setting, and it has to do with the way that my camera system does focusing, because different camera systems have different like techniques for how the camera focuses in video, and Panasonic, which is what I use, does this thing called depth by defocus, and while it can focus fairly well, it's not as good as like Canon, but Canon cameras are like 3 times as expensive, so I don't own one, and on and on and on, right? So I'm saving up for a new camera. That's what that's for. I do have an update for you guys about Bandit. Let me see where she's at. I washed her bed yesterday, and she's kind of upset that I did that because it doesn't smell like it used to. Hi, honey. Do you want to say hello to the people? Do you want to be in your bed? You want to be in your bed? Okay, we'll say hello later. She just looked at me like, I'm not getting out of bed, crazy lady. So, Bandit, it is harder to get into a vet here than it is to get into an actual human doctor. I contacted 5 different surgery clinics that are within a 45-minute radius of where I live because Bandit, my dog, partially tore her ACL. At least that's what they think happened. The vet was like, it could just be a partial tear or it could be a full tear. We don't know. But most likely a partial tear of her ACL back, I think, at the end of summer. And it has been just a wild time trying to get in for a surgery consultation because apparently what happened is there was a local emergency hospital that closed. Just bye. No more. Like, imagine if, like, your ER and, like, a full hospital where you live just, like, closed out of nowhere. That's basically what happened. And so all of the other surgery centers and, like, veterinary ERs, like, have been absorbing the rest of that. And so, like, I had 2 places that told me that they're not taking on, like, new clients. I had one place that told me that they had their, like, head surgeon was on, like, permanent sabbatical, and so, like, they weren't scheduling things until, like, mid-March. And then I had one other place where it was, like, $200 just for the consultation, and I was like, that's not going to be covered by my insurance. Oh, I don't know why it says. Oh, there we go. It's like, why is it saying anything?
About disability, but your FAQ also covered that. So this is just thank you for that.
Oh, of course. If you have any specific questions about anything related to that, I'm certainly not an expert in anything related to disability, but I'm happy to point you in the right direction if you do have any other questions. But we love accessibility on this channel, so, you know, there's that. Anyways, and then the last place I finally got an appointment with, and I'm literally, Valentine's Day, the morning of Valentine's Day, I am taking Bandit in for a consultation for potential surgery. And so that is how many weeks? That's not even like, that's like 3 weeks, I think. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, it's like 3 weeks and change. It's like 3 weeks, 3 days. So not even like, I was like stoked. I was like, most places aren't even taking people, and the other place isn't taking clients for like 7 weeks. So okay, I'll take like what I can get. So I'm really happy to say that Bandit is going in for a consultation. I've been trying more of the wait and see thing just because it's like she has been doing a lot better. I was out of town for MLK weekend, and I did a bunch of walking around outside, and Bandit was fine. Like, she was outside walking with me for probably like 4 hours, and she was just having the time of her life. Like, she didn't limp at all, and so she hasn't really been in obvious pain or limping. The last time I saw her limp was Christmas, like the day before Christmas, because the house I was staying at had cats in it, like outdoor cats, and she's obsessed with cats. It's so funny. I obviously can't recreate this because there's no cats here. Bandit loves cats. She is fascinated with them. I don't know if she's ever been around them before, but when she sees cats outside, she was running around the house, like circling back and forth from different windows trying to find where the cats were. It was so cute. And then we would have her meet the cats, and she was so, like, she would just sit there. She was so overwhelmed with the excitement of being near a cat that she, like, didn't know what to do. And the cats were like, I know a little bit of cat body language where, like, they're smelling her nose, they're, like, rubbing up against her, like, they're acting really friendly. The cats aren't scared of her literally at all. But she's, like, so overwhelmed. She's, like shaking but wagging her tail, and it's like, oh my god, what's happening? It's so precious. Anyways, that's the Bandit update. I'm so happy for her because she's never the only time Bandit has ever even shown an ounce of aggression has been I have a family member that has like big dogs, and one of the big dogs was like, he's a puppy. He didn't necessarily know better. He was like not even a year old, I think. And he was just so aggressive about smelling Bandit. And he's like 80 pounds. He's like 9 times Bandit size. And is like following her around the house and smelling and smelling and smelling, and like just wouldn't leave her alone. And eventually she got fed up with it. She was sitting on my lap on the couch, and she was like, and lunged at him a little bit with like her teeth bared, not like actively trying to bite, but like a hey, like back off, dude, kind of a thing. And he left her alone after that. It was great. So he learned boundaries. Bandit stuck up for herself eventually. And it was so constant. Like I would try to like take Bandit away and like hold her and like make sure that he wasn't getting too close, but like it's like hard to always make sure that, you know, nothing is ever happening. Anyways, that's my dog story. I don't know what I want to do with my hair right now. I don't know. I feel like I want to brush it, but I don't have a brush near me. Any thoughts on lotion? I've made lotion before. I don't actually make lotion. I've scented a lotion base. I haven't actually made lotion because it turns out making lotion is very complicated and difficult, but yes. Bandit does know about consent. I hope that she does anyways. That's part of what I want to teach her. I was so happy to discover there was a munch for blind people. It was amazing to meet other kinksters with shared experiences. That's awesome, Ash. That's great. I'm so happy for you. There's literally something for everyone. Our munches aren't really coming back here in the way that they, you know, I think could have at some point. So we don't really have the ace munch isn't back yet. The queer munch isn't back yet. I'm sure at some point they're gonna restart, but not yet. And I have this I don't know. I have mixed feelings about volunteering in the community, like especially if it's me just volunteering at a party and I'm not like the one who's like hosting it or organizing it. It's different because like if I'm just the one who's like, you know, checking IDs or, you know, social DMing or something, I feel like that's fine. But I feel weird about actually hosting and running something because for me that gets into a place of like I don't want to have too much power and authority in a space because like I am a YouTuber. I mean, I'm not like a, you know, a million subscriber channel or something. I'm not massive, but I do know people that come into the scene because of my videos, because they know who I am. And I feel like I don't want to be the one who runs everything because I feel like that just gets weird in terms of like, well, I'm this person who's kind of like on the internet and talks about this, and then I'm also running this munch. Like, is it like, how do you do that in like an ethical way? You know, that's something I think about a lot. Yes. You want to make sure the Streamlab donation will pop up. Put text in the chat box. Otherwise, it doesn't have anything to send to OBS for the alert. So like if you just leave it blank, it won't pop up on the screen, FYI. That's what I've found out happens. I would love to host an Ace Munch in my area, but I felt like it'd take away from my experience if I'm trying to manage everything. Yeah, that's part of it too. I mean, I'm kind of at the point where I like facilitating things. Like, there was somebody who right before the Omicron spike hit that was starting to try and organize a Pet Players and Littles event. And I was like, I want to help with this. Like, what can I do? And like now it's not really happening because, you know, every party here for the next like, 2 months at least has been canceled. So that's probably not going to be happening super soon. But like if I'm helping organize something, that's fine. And like honestly, I would much rather be I would rather help to make the space and have it just happen at all versus like being able to participate all the time, right? One of my friends saw me looking at your channel. I was looking for a specific study for an essay and found out he was kinky too. Oh my gosh, a small world, right? And went to a virtual munch last night and met a lot of cool people. Awesome, that's great. Okay, so I'm gonna go. Sorry, I realize I've been skipping out of the chat. Let me go back to the beginning here and read some stuff. Hello from Poland. What time is it in Poland right now? Must be very late at night / very early morning, I suppose. Oh my god, YouTube, please let me scroll in the chat. What's happening here? Oh, thank you, Carno. I'm 23 and I'm very new to this channel and well, subject as a whole. I'm usually very conservative, but education is education. I think you do a great job. Yeah, I try my best. I'm glad that you feel comfortable being here. -3 degrees Fahrenheit with wind? Yeah, it's like 50 degrees outside here today. It does make me conscious at every moment that climate change is happening, but I'd much rather have it be 50 degrees than -3. Stay safe out there. Like, that's definitely, like, that's, like, danger territory, I feel like. Like, in terms of pipe freezing and things like that, not fun. -93 degrees Fahrenheit. Is it, are you in the southern hemisphere? I guess that would make more sense. But then it should be fall? Like, I guess very end of summer, early fall, right? So... Ah, yes. Yes, getting restationed. That's okay. I have a question. If you're in the Navy, how do you end up being stationed in Georgia? Because that's not anywhere near the ocean. Or does he not work in a part of the Navy that actually physically involves being on a boat? Because I guess that would make more sense. But it's hard when you're like far away from family and like if you want to see. I don't know if you have family in Kentucky or not, and that's why. But like it's hard when you have to travel and be separated a lot, especially with COVID the way it is now. Anyways, it's like, what are you gonna do? Get on a plane? Hi everyone, I decided to take a break from laundry for this. I'm generally interested in the videos topic. Love your videos. Yeah, love that. I definitely do my laundry while I watch YouTube videos a lot. So the topic I had in mind for today, guys, was like relationships and talking to people about BDSM. So like if you do have a question about how do I introduce my partner to BDSM, how do I have that conversation, I know I do have an answer for that in the FAQ, but for today only, special coupon offer. We will talk about that today if anyone has any questions about how to do that introduction, initial icebreaker conversation, how to meet people that are in BDSM, how to have those conversations ethically. So that's sort of what I have in mind for today. But obviously we are doing an FAQ. So it is whatever you guys want to talk about. I do like the old school emoticons. I will say, obviously, I do have one that's in the description of every single one of my videos, so I must like them pretty well. But I miss getting to use them in chat a lot because I feel like some of the emojis are like too aggressive for the emotion I want to indicate. Like, I literally do not know how to use the shrug emoji without seeming like an asshole, even when it is literally like, yeah, I don't know, like it's not meant to be passive aggressive, but there's something about the shrug emoji that is inherently passive aggressive, I feel like. And there's no, like, maybe that's just me and my association with it, but like, man, it's hard to communicate that I'm not trying to be a bitch when I use this, but like, it affects how things come across for sure. Because there's so many variations with emoticons in terms of the eyes, the faces, the actual, like, what direction you're looking. Whereas, like, emojis are just emojis, you know? You just get the one option. Well, I guess you get to change, like, the emoji skin color and stuff, but that's, you know. In emoticons, the emoticons can be anything you want them to be. Are emoticons non-binary icons? Because I feel like they transcend gender, and so I feel like that's an advantage. What is Portuguese style rice pudding? Because I like making rice pudding too, and I've made it a couple times now, and I'm kind of burnt out on it, TBH, because I've made it too much. But I really enjoyed making coconut rice pudding, which I guess is more like well, sort of reminds me of like Thai sticky rice, but and I think anywhere that has rice really has some variation of a rice pudding dessert, I feel like, because it's like, instead of boiling the rice in water, you boil it in milk and sugar, and it tastes good. That's how you make it. The end. Yeah, I meant to go and pick up. I went to the grocery store earlier this week. I didn't want to go back a second time, so I ended up doing a grocery delivery order because I forgot oat milk, and I forgot I was gonna buy tea. So of course that required me ordering stuff. So that's what I did. But I had a waffle earlier. Stuff is expensive. Oh my god. Have you guys like noticed that when you've gone to the grocery store? Like everything is so much more expensive now. Like there are still things I can get like a good deal on, and maybe this is just because I live in the city. But like gas here is almost $5 a gallon, which is like mind-boggling. And then when I go to the grocery store, it's like even the really cheap stuff is like, 50 cents more, $1 more, $2 more, and like that adds up. Even just buying for me, and I don't really, I don't eat a whole lot of food. I'm not like feeding a family of 4, but like, the dollar doesn't go as far as it used to. Make the rice in milk, add lemon and stuff, cinnamon on top. Not sure how different it is to other styles. I haven't made it because I kind of suck at rice. The lemon I feel like is an addition. I don't think I've ever like had Portuguese food. Like I've never seen like a Portuguese food restaurant. But I'm sure it's like sort of like in the vague realm of Mediterranean, lots of seafood, I imagine, kind of stuff. Or maybe not. I have no idea. I've never been to Portugal. I did find there's a rope bondage tutorial channel on YouTube. I think they're European Portuguese. It's not like Brazilian Portuguese or South American Portuguese. And hearing it is fascinating because my brain goes Italian, Spanish, Romanian? Question mark? Because actually to me it sounds more, when I listen to Portuguese, it sounds more like Italian and Romanian than it does like Spanish. Don't know why that is the case, but I mean, even like Spain has a bunch of different like regional dialects and stuff, so maybe that's why. Oh, was the munch you went to, Ash? Was that the blind munch you went to, or is that a different munch? Was it online? I'm assuming it was online, because I don't know how many... I mean, it was in person. That's like impressive. Like, just that they could organize that many people together. Oh no. Oh no, I was accidentally echoing. Okay, I think I fixed it. I was just watching your maintenance beatings video. Yeah, that's one of the videos that like we didn't get views on it now. I feel like people are very confused by it because people have found it so much later and they're like, why are you calling it that? Like, and that was, I got that term I think from a book, and I think now if I was gonna make that video again, I would probably give it a less salacious title. Because people do that and then they're like, you shouldn't beat your spouse, that's evil. And it's like, it's kind of a like silly name, but you can call it whatever you want. But like the principle of the matter is the same, right? This is, oh yeah, I guess it does. This is like the kind of stuff that is in, the little chibi characters I have at the end of my videos. I guess it's kind of a similar outfit to that. Oh, with my eye makeup, I did the like taking it into your inner corner, which I've never done before because when I used to use the brush style, why did my brain just go liquid lipstick? The brush style eyeliner applicators, it absolutely does not work. However, I have a brand new felt tip eyeliner pen, and that actually works pretty well. And like looking at it on camera, I feel like I need to bring it in like down more and make it like thicker. I guess I could try to do that on stream. I do have a mirror with me, so I guess I could actually try that if you guys want to watch me make this makeup more intense even than it is right now. But you know, that could be an option. I do really like this top. I like it because I feel like moths are not like a super common aesthetic. And I've talked about this before. Like, part of the reason why I have a problem with like especially like modern goth clothing and like especially Dolls Kill, especially Killstar, outside of the fact that like Killstar has like done a lot of copyright like infringement and stolen designs, and Dolls Kill has done the same thing and also done some real racist shit like on top of their existing issues. A lot of it has a lot of like satanic imagery and like magic shit on it, which if you're an actual magic practitioner, maybe that vibes with you and you're like, yes, I love it, I want more. But for me, it's like, I'm not a Satanist. I like at best, I am an ambivalent like agnostic. Like religion is like the bottom thing in my life that like I notice or think deeply about. I'm just like, I don't think humans have the capacity to fully understand the mysteries of the universe. So, like, who knows really what's going on? I don't think we necessarily have the sensory processing to be able to fully have knowledge in that realm. So, that's my 2 cents. But I don't practice stuff like that. And so I feel like it would be weird for me to, like, I mean, I have a Blackcraft clothing sweater I really like that does have like a Baphomet on it that says like believe in yourself on it, and I'm fine with that. But like when it's like everything is like bedazzled in cult symbols, and well, not cult, but like like imagery and like alchemical symbols, I'm like, this is like, can we just like have plain black? Like, is that an option? So I'm thankful that there's something that's like, kind of a cute, unique pattern. It's not just like 20,000 pentacles all over everything, which I'm sure some people love. And what happened to onks, by the way? That used to be a thing. Where'd the onks go? They disappeared. Apparently we can do everything else, but no more onks. Okay, so Bad Cat asked, what advice do you have for people new to kink in an area of no organized activities who want to start munches and play parties? Okay, so step 1, pick which lane you want to go down, because organizing stuff takes a lot of time and energy, and you will not be able to organize both. Because if you do that, it will literally be a full-time job, because you'll be answering FetLife messages, emails, figuring out ticket prices. I think if you've never organized anything before and you want to do that, it is more worthwhile to start a munch, because there are people that will have private homes that will feel okay inviting people over that can have play events. So I think having a munch is more important, especially for new people. And I think people undervalue munches, especially when they're newer, because they want to just go and do the thing. But organizing a munch can be really easy, right? Like if you have any sort of I don't know, I guess like you might call like an ally space, right? Like there's like a chain of like cupcake stores around here that's really well known for being queer friendly and being like a safe space kind of, and they have areas of their shops that you can rent for like meetings, and some people do it for schoolwork stuff, some people do it for LGBT groups or whatever else. And we've also done that for munches before in the past as well. And so if you know any place like that, things that are really good are like any sort of like nerd affiliated space, board game shops, coffee shops that have sort of a nerdy vibe to them. There's actually a coffee shop that I went to not that long ago, maybe that long ago. I think it was before Thanksgiving, actually, now that I said that. And I remember thinking, oh, this would be a really great spot for a munch because it's kind of quiet. It's still in like an accessible area. There's literally a bus line that stops pretty much right outside the building. You'd have to go down some stairs to get to it. So for people that are wheelchair users, it's not going to be super accessible, but the bus line is like a good option for that. But it's a nerd space. There's lots of board games, lots of books. There's things you can buy. They have vegan options. They have gluten-free options in the place. So there's going to be options for people that are there, and ways to support the business when you go to the munch. And they had like big group communal tables as well, and good internet, all of that stuff. So that's what I was looking at when I was thinking about, oh, this would be a good spot for Munch is like accessibility, proximity to public transit. Is this like a queer friendly space? Does it have good table setups? What was the food and drink situation like? This was a coffee shop, and they did serve both sandwiches, coffee, ice drinks, hot chocolate, etc. So there wasn't any alcohol. That would be good for people that are in recovery, people that are in like AA, etc. as well. And also just like it was a big enough space, but also a place that like seemed pretty open for like those kinds of conversations being okay. Whereas if you organize a Munch and then you end up doing it in like the Christian bookstore, you're probably gonna end up being kicked out. So you need to have a space you could find where like the people that are operating the shop, even if it's a franchise location, if it's like a mom and pop place, whatever, like just see what you have that's around in the area that is available for like having a space reserved in either in like a back banquet area or just like an individual like big table. And especially if you live in a place that has like a lot of restaurants and lots of options, usually those places are really thankful to have people come in on days and times that they're a little bit slower and busier. So like Wednesdays and Thursdays are usually a good option as well if you're looking for a location. But it totally depends on where you live, and I'm sure everywhere it's a little bit different. But that's sort of what I would look for. And really, it's sort of a build it and they will come kind of a thing. Like I know so many people that swear there's nothing where they live, there's no Munches, there's no parties, there's no kinky people here, and then they make a Munch, they put it on FetLife, and then like the first time 20 people show up. It can take a while to get started, you know? Sometimes it's advertising things correctly, sometimes it's just people like deciding to give it a try. So, you know, give it like, you know, 4 or 5 weeks, you know, if you're doing it on a weekly basis, or give it like, you know, at least like a season, I suppose. So if you start it in like you know, February, right? Give it at least until maybe the beginning of summer, maybe like June, if you meet, you know, every month to see if people show up. Because the weather will change things as well. So if you live in a place where there's lots of snow, people are going to have a hard time getting places. But in the spring and summer, more people might show up because maybe they have less obligations for like workload or from school or something. And so they have more time to be able to go to things like that. But anyways, I just gave a big old rambly thing about starting a Munch. If you can, try to have somebody do it with you, because it can be really draining to be the only one trying to find a spot, setting up the time, being there at the right time, replying to emails, making sure everybody is getting along. All of that stuff can be really daunting if it's only you. So if you have a friend that can help you with it, that's also a really good idea. Yes, if you guys like the live stream, hit the like button. I always forget. I never ask for people to do stuff like that. I'm such a bad like self-promoting YouTuber. If you like the live stream, more people will see it happen, because literally sometimes YouTube doesn't even notify people that live streams are happening, even when they're subscribed. And if YouTube thinks people don't like the live stream, it won't recommend it as much, and then we can't help people. And then what's the point, you know? It's silly, but that is the way of the world. It amazes me. There are people that literally get like 6,000 viewers on a live stream on YouTube. I'm like, how is that possible with so many people all live streaming at once? But anyways, here's my blanket. As you can tell, I like purple and green. Purple and green. I don't really own any like purple. I don't own any green clothing, actually. I don't think if I could have like a shirt or something that was this color, I would wear it. But I'm sure like Cyberdog has something like that, but I really don't like Cyberdog clothing, TBH. I've been in their store before, and I'm just like, I think I have to be on ecstasy to like wearing these clothes, and I've never been on ecstasy, so probably not for me. Window shopping streams are a thing. Maybe I will do that. I don't know if I'll do it on YouTube or what. Could that be copyright infringement? I don't know. I feel like that shouldn't be. But maybe we'll do that for like Patreon or something sometime. That does sound like a fun thing to do. But yeah, I think starting a Munch is really the best route to go first before play parties, because you want to have a social space where people can meet and just talk and get to know each other before they get into play parties. Because this is the other thing, people forget this. This is the other really important thing about Munches, is it allows you time as an event organizer to decide if the people pass the vibe check. And if they don't pass the vibe check, then you shouldn't be inviting them to play parties, right? You got the porcelain doll collar. Oh, that's exciting. Is that from the kitten collection? I think I saw that on there. Oh, that's cute. Yeah, I mean, it's basically the Vampira one I was looking at, which has now, oh no, there it is. Haha, I found it again. Why does it have to be $100? Like, I'm sure it's worth that much because I know they make everything by hand, but like, I cry. I would love it actually if I could have this, but have it be with purple jewels in it, or like maybe alternating purple and black. I'm sure one day that'll be possible. One day, it will be a thing. This is so random and irrelevant to like everyone else, but I wish someone on YouTube would just like go through and audio describe BDSM gear from popular shops. Oh, yeah, I don't even know. I mean, that would be a lot of effort. If I did a stream or I was window shopping, I would try my best to describe everything, but it is, when you can't hold something in person, it's hard to describe. Like, I can't describe if something is like soft or hard, or if it's you know, if it's heavy, if it's light. Like, those kinds of qualities are missing when you can't see it in person, but it's certainly better than not being able to know anything that's going on. I know I can only see the top quadrant, but I'm really digging the shirt or dress you have. Yeah, it's a shirt dress combo. There you go. I just wish I had a different, like, I think if I had a collar with spikes on it, it would work better for this. Okay, I have made a decision. I am going to put on lipstick now. This is what's happening. Because I keep looking at my plain lips and it's, like, throwing me off, so... what color is this called exactly? It's called Sleepwalker. This was literally out of stock online for like a year, so I'm very grateful that I had this. But I can't look at my plain lips anymore, so my tiny little... And putting on black lipstick, I always overdraw it because black makes your lips look smaller. I'm not going to be able to talk while I do this, by the way, so chat amongst yourselves. Doesn't that look better already? This is also why I like the doe foot applicator brushes, is because that's what allows me to actually do the bottom part of the lips. Because this is what happens. See, I always get black lipstick. I don't get any other color on my teeth except for black, I swear. I will say, this does have like a fruit, like a lip smacker type smell to it. I can't decide if it's like, it reminds me of like strawberry shortcake, like a fake strawberry shortcake, or like a fake strawberry smell. Like, it's like vanilla and strawberry is what it smells like. Did I get lipstick on my nose? I don't think so. What if I only did the bottom lip? This feels like something a TikToker would do. Like, you would do black on the bottom lip and then like plain glitter on top, and people would be like, this is fashion. That's what it feels like. I feel like these lashes don't want to stay up for some reason. They look really good in real life, but like for some reason they look really like flat on camera, and it's kind of bothering me. All right, doing the top lip. I'm going in. I'm not even like doing anything after this. I was just like, I want to experiment with my makeup, and I'm terrified of experimenting with my makeup when I'm gonna film a video, because then I have to look at that for hours when I'm editing. So I'll do it when I'm gonna do a live stream. Doing the top lip is the worst. It's the worst. But we're gonna get through it together. Oh no! I just got it on my face. Oh dear. Oh, okay. Crisis averted, I think. Now, I just have to do the other half of my lip. Which I think is the side you guys can actually see. Alright, I feel like that's better. Cleaning up black lipstick, though, is the worst. Okay. It feels like this look is actually finished. Usually I just use my finger to kind of clean things up, but I might decide to, if this stays red, I might grab some concealer and fix that. But, ta-da! Now we're done. The makeup section of the show is completed. For now. I need to get this little bit of my hair trimmed, because I don't know, it didn't get cut the last time I got my bangs trimmed, and so I was like, what do I do with this now? Because when I wear my hair up, it's cute to have this lockout, but like, it doesn't match with anything. Oh, we have a super chat from William, who says, let me click on the super chat. Okay. Have you noticed any regional differences towards attitudes towards BDSM? I'm in the Southeast US. We seem to have our own issues here. Oh, totally. BDSM is very, very regional everywhere you go. Different places are known for different things and have sort of different vibes to them. Like, I definitely know people that tell me that the area they live in is like really anti-switch, and like switches are like pariahs and get ostracized, and everyone's like really into MS. And that's like the opposite case here. Like, everyone's a switch here. Like, being switch is the default, really. And then in other places, you know, everyone does rope bondage. Like, Austin is in that way. I think certain parts of Florida have a really big rope scene as well, and then other places, like, nobody does rope. So there are definitely like big differences in attitude towards things, like, or also things like DDLG or CGL, for example. Like, certain places are very against that and think it's like gross and awful, and everyone like makes some fun of it. And then other places are like, every other person is a little, or like people hate brats, and they're like, brats are not real submissives. I had this one person, oh my god, I literally took screenshots of these comments because I was like, oh my god, what are you saying? Let me pull up these screenshots so I can read. I'm not gonna tell you who wrote these comments because I don't want anyone to like be mean to them or rude or whatever. I just like found these supremely entertaining, and I was like, oh my god, somebody needs to know about this besides me. Okay, so this person said, they left 3 different comments, and they said, what is this destructive idea of promoting brats? At worst, you could be a goblin princess, which is not so far from an elf princess. I love you so much, but why always sociopath brats? Brat means you can't emotionally connect at all. A brat can't even cuddle without poking your ribs. But you talk about other very much less psychopath relationships. Oops, I don't even... psychopath relationships, and you were totally on point with those. Brats are psychopaths, according to this person. And then finally, toxic submission equals brat. Same thing. You can't have a decent relationship with someone who annoys the hell out of you and does it deliberately. Sure, a little struggle is hot, but brat means effectively she was always poking you in the ribs. Like, the sheer hatred is just like, wow, like what brat hurt you personally? Because every brat I know is very responsible with it and like lets people know that they're brats and communicates about it and negotiates around it. But sometimes people are like, they take one personal bad experience and they're like, this whole category of person is no good. And there's like, there's this one author who has a couple of Amazon, like, self-published, e-printed BDSM books. They have, like, a contract book. Their name is, I think it's Michelle Fegatofi. She married an Italian guy, so the last name's Italian. And she is fascinating to me because Michelle Fegatofi, her entire experience doing BDSM was on online internet forums where she met an Italian man, like 20 years older than she was. She had an online-only MS relationship. She never went to a munch. She never went to a dungeon. She never did BDSM in person. And then she married this guy, moved to Italy, and now is in a permanent MS relationship and writes BDSM books based on that. But then she has things about, like, brats aren't real submissives. And I'm like, honey, you've never even been to a dungeon before. Like, you've never even met a brat in person. So, like, what the fuck do you know about someone else's play style when you've never even met one or seen one in person before? Like, what? Like, it's one thing when you have a negative personal experience, but then just being like, based on nothing than my own personal intuition, I have decided this entire category of people are lying to themselves. And I find that extremely funny. And I should say, if you decide you don't want to go to a dungeon, if you don't like public BDSM, if that's not your thing, that's totally valid and fine. Literally, based on the limited survey data we do have, out of everyone in the whole fucking world, everyone that's in, you know, a country that has some kind of ability to have, like, you know, that's legal to have, like, adults do sexual things in private spaces, like, 1% of people go to a dungeon are like lifestyle BDSM practitioners. 1% is actually a lot. That's like bigger than most segments of the LGBT plus community. But only 1%, right? Only 1%. But about 7% do some kind of BDSM regularly enough to self-identify as BDSM practitioners. But like almost 90% of people that do some kind of regular BDSM only ever do it in private. They never go in public. And so, like, if your route in life is only doing private BDSM, that's fine. What bothers me is when people that only ever do BDSM online marry a guy from Italy, move to Italy, then pronounce themselves BDSM educators without ever having met another person that does BDSM before. I'm like, can you really speak for, like, whole segments of the community that you've literally never interfaced with? Like, is that... I don't think that's a good thing. Like, I don't even, like, even if it was a random person online who's like, I've never met a brat, but I think that they're all really awful. It's like, are you sure you want to, like, say that? Like, do you have, like, you're just, like, instinct and intuition are not data points, my dude. Anyways. It's just, it's exciting. All right, I'm going to put some concealer on here because it's still kind of red and it's going to bother me, but I'll be right back. Ask your questions. And, wow, it's already 7? What? Okay, I should check on when my groceries are gonna be here because I really don't want to leave oat milk on my stoop. Okay, I'm not in any danger of that. Okay, I don't even think it's out for delivery yet, so I should be fine. All right, cool. Gonna fix that. Let me actually, before I leave, let me check something real quick. Oh, where did it go? Where was the thing I was looking at? There actually, this is unrelated to anything we've been talking about, but right before streaming, when I was getting ready, I think her name is Amanda the Jedi. Is that her name? She put out a video that was called Netflix's Brazen is 50 Shades of Bland. And apparently it is an that Netflix made an adaptation of a I think it's a Nora Roberts book, who's like a big time romance author. And apparently the plot centers around a cam girl that's also a pro dom, and she gets murdered. Spoiler alert, this is, you know, part of the movie. And I'm like, should I watch that? Like, would you guys want to do a movie night where we watch this like awful romance movie that involves like a pro dom, and like apparently Alison Milano is in it. And she plays like the lead female character. I don't know. It sounds like it could be really funny to watch. And who doesn't love a good cheesy romance movie, really, you know? Listening to my dog snore? Oh, I listen to my dog snore all the time. It is her favorite thing to do in the world. She actually doesn't snore a lot. Like, I say she probably snores like once every couple days, but she does have like little puppy dreams that are really cute. Like, she makes this little, like, it's like she's woofing, but her mouth is closed, and so it's like woof. Woof. It's so small and quiet and cute. It's adorable. Okay, it looks like it's not out for delivery yet, so I'm fine. Okay, cool. BDSM movies are like video game movies, 99% bad. Oh, yeah, but we'd be going into it knowing it was bad, and so we just have a fun time, like, ribbing it, you know? Thank you for answering my question. Incidentally, I love brats. We have a lot of brats in my area. See, exactly. And that's the thing that drives me crazy is like these people say, oh, well, like brats are sociopaths and they're all bad submissives and no dom would want them. And it's like, I know lots of doms that love brats. Like, what do you, like, just because you don't like them doesn't mean every person also hates them. Like, it's just the most mind-boggling logic, really. Sounds like a good Mystery Science Theater 3000 movie night idea. Oh, for sure, for sure. If I did that, it would probably be. We have time before the end of the month. We could do it like next weekend. We do it like sort of an end of the month extravaganza. I don't know why I said extravaganza like that. I am filming a video for Patreon probably on Sunday, so. Because I'm probably not gonna do it tomorrow because I need to edit a giant fucking video tomorrow. I don't know why I decided. I'm like, I'm gonna make a video that's gonna be an hour long talking about the data of how many people do BDSM and looking into the research. And turns out editing that and getting all of the screenshots of all of the studies and all the graphs and the highlighting and it takes a long time. Okay, I said I was gonna put concealer on my face, so I'm doing that. Take this moment to hydrate yourself, and I will BRB. Okay, I'm back. Because my mirror is in here, so I need it for my concealer. That is the thing about black lipstick, is actually getting it on really well is very difficult. And normally, I would just use more of my foundation, but not doing that today. We are not going there. Oh, I actually really like, I tried out, it's the I switched back to doing the Tarte Rainforest of the Sea foundation, and I feel like I really like the Urban Decay Hydromaniac foundation, but it separates so much, like, it gets into my nose lines right here, and I really hate that it always creases right on my nose. And the Tarte Rainforest of the Sea never does that, and I like the finish on the Urban Decay really well, but it just, like, it separates so much. Why do I have an... Okay, phone, what? This happened earlier today. I had my phone, I had gone to the post office to drop something off, and I left my phone in, like, my reusable bag, and I went in to, like, I was starting to get ready. I was, like, turning on lights and stuff, and then from in my bedroom, I could hear from the kitchen in the bag, it had started playing a random Nick DeRamio video, and I was like, how did that even happen? Like, why are you playing that right now? It's just like my phone is possessed, apparently. I don't know. Anyways, yeah, I don't even know why that happened. Like, I think, oh my god, what is happening? What? Why is this even on my phone? Oh, I see. Okay. This is apparently their, like, what was it, like 2000s rock essentials or something playlist on YouTube Music. I have no fucking idea. Okay. Interesting stuff happening. I literally haven't heard that song in like 10 years. That is crazy. Okay. Are there Tarte Rainforests in the Sea? I don't know where they have that name. It definitely sounds like a Korean skincare name, like just something that's like a word salad of adjectives, but that's what they call it. I don't know. But I decided to call my family 13 times. Oh, I'll take randomly playing 2000s rock music over calling my family, because when you call your family that many times, they're gonna be like, okay, somebody's being murdered right now, like this is a serious problem. Okay, I need to get back to the chat because I have answered like 2 questions today. There's a custom pet play maker called Princess Spanky Keys. That's a mouthful. Who makes collars really similar to that, but they're ribbon. Oh, yeah. I mean, ribbon collars used to be, like, really popular back in the day, and they're less so. Oh, we have our super chat. Oh, there we go.
$5. Given that 90% of PPL who do BDSM are not on FetLife, I've considered doing promotion on Facebook and local media with links to RSVP not giving location. Do PPL do this in your thoughts?
I don't have a Facebook, so I don't know how that would work. But I do know people that do organize events on Facebook, as an alternative to a FetLife RSVP. And I know people have, BDSM Facebook groups and other things that you can join. So that would be, if what you're asking is, should I link to FetLife on Facebook? I probably wouldn't do that. But I would, if you wanted to, if you organize something over, I know there's like other, like events organizing websites, but probably Facebook is the best one, I imagine, if you're not on FetLife. I would probably go with an individual, like, separate Facebook event, and then also have the FetLife RSVP as well. Because I definitely RSVP to everything on FetLife, and if something was only on Facebook, I would never hear about it. So I think it's good to have both, because you can, like, copy and paste over the event description and everything, I imagine. So it's probably not that much more work, but there's one group I know of it's like a polyamory group that also advertises on FetLife, but because it also is for vanilla poly people, they also have like FetLife or Facebook stuff instead of just FetLife, because a lot of like vanilla poly, like if you're a vanilla poly person, like why are you on FetLife basically is the thing. Even though there is overlap, like people that just only are ever polyamorous but don't do anything related to kink, like there's no reason for them to be on FetLife. So yeah, I definitely know people that do that, but not like exclusively only on Facebook usually, from what I know. So a ribbon collar, how do I describe what a ribbon collar looks like? Because I don't have one to look at to know how to visually demonstrate it. Is a ribbon collar, usually it's like a nylon backing that has like a buckle on it, like you would have with a pet collar. And then the ribbon, it usually isn't like just flat ribbon. Usually what they do is they kind of like fold it back on itself so it has like a ruffle to it, and then they sew the ruffle to the nylon backing, and then after they do that, they put on usually some kind of like attachment hardware, like usually like a little O-ring or D-rings or something to make it more bondagey. But they're really like more associated with like kitten play and things like that. They were really popular a couple years ago, but less so now. I'm not sure if it's like a sufficient description, but basically what it is, it's not literally like ribbon just around your neck, although I guess it could be, but usually there's something to it to make it a little bit more like sweat resistant and tear resistant and things like that. I don't know if monogamy is a lie. That seems excessive. I mean, I could see how you might think that if you're somebody that maybe has like a history of like being cheated on or people being unfaithful in some way. But like there are definitely people who are just like legit monogamous. But there are other people that are not. And that's also valid. I think the important part is that you do the thing that is fulfilling for you and feels like your authentic truth. And make sure the people that you're with also know what that is. I have some PVC bondage tape. Hope I get to use it before it has problems. Oh, yeah. Like PVC clothing is one thing, but if it's like bondage tape that's on a roll, that should be fine. I've never seen anything with that go bad, but I've also never owned a roll of bondage tape that's been around 30 years later. So maybe it would wear out, but I don't think it would. Any good alternatives to avoid dolls kill? You can buy directly from Lip Service. I really like Blackcraft clothing. I should have. There's Sourpuss clothing as well. They do also carry stuff from Killstar, I think, but they have a lot of other indie brands on there. If you don't mind secondhand clothing, or you wear a size where it's easy to get secondhand clothing, Poshmark, Depop, I think, Mercari. You can also get a lot of stuff secondhand if you don't want to buy from Dolls Kill directly, but you like their clothing. A good alternative is to buy it secondhand. I personally don't have a problem with buying secondhand anything, because basically what you're doing is avoiding it going into a landfill, and I feel like that's a positive thing to do. But those would be my sort of main clothing alternatives. There's also Shop Melanoir, which is MELA, and then Noir, which is NOIR. Shop Melanoir. They're on Instagram. I don't think they're on Etsy anymore. I think they have their own website. And then Apatico, which is APATICO. Fair warning, I did order from Apatico for their Black Friday sale, and they mostly have bondage stuff, but they have like hats and some other things as well. But they everything they make is handmade, and so it's like an 8-week lead time basically. And then my last one I would go for that I've only bought one thing from, so I don't know if maybe they have a shady history, I don't know about it, is Foxblood Shop. They also have an Instagram account. I bought a really cute skirt from them that's like, I don't know where it is in my closet to pull it out, but it's like a 3-panel skirt. So like it's basically there's slits on the leg so it flows when you walk, but there's like built-in shorts with it, which I think is really nice. And I don't think they make the clothing, but I do think it's like a boutique, like if you're going to a boutique in person. Also, if you live in a big city, like if you live in Portland, LA, San Francisco, wherever, like definitely look for boutiques in your area. I find a lot of really nice clothing from just shopping at boutiques. It's not always as expensive, but can be a good way to get pieces that, you know, are not necessarily like mainstream, like fashion produced. I tried to introduce BDSM to my now ex, and he did not respond well. It was very messy, but it's probably for the best it ended. Oh, yeah. I mean, I feel like you can tell a lot from somebody's reaction. Like if they have a disgusted no never reaction to doing BDSM, then like if you really want that, you're not gonna end up being compatible. Dolls Kill is a clothing brand that is kind of like a combination of like e-thought, goth, e-girl, raver clothing, and like cheap, terrible Halloween costumes. So, I'm sorry, I'm touching up my fingernail, by the way, if you're wondering. That's how I would describe it. It's fast fashion. And some of it is like, from other companies that they wholesale from that is actually good quality, but the stuff they make themselves is usually cheap and bad. The end. I radiate such incredible vibes. My electronic equipment can't handle it. Apparently not, I guess. Fucking, I'm like, what is it gonna play next? It's like, it's done YouTube videos. It's done YouTube music. Is it gonna start like? What is there left to do? I don't know. Play a movie from Netflix, I guess. Mmm. Question. I've always wondered if you deal a lot with, quote, fake doms coming at you in your inbox as a femme talking openly about BDSM trying to talk down to you. Honestly, I get less of that than what you probably think. What I get more of is men that send me really creepy emails that either they are saying they want to be my submissive and are like, mistress, please let me worship you, like take all my money. Like it's like, this is probably catfishing and it's like they're probably trying to get my bank account information, tbh. But like I get a lot of like submissive men that think because I'm a woman on the internet that talks about BDSM I must be a dominatrix, which is confusing. I know I don't wear a collar anymore really, but you'd think that the fact I say I'm submissive so many times would sink in, but apparently not. And then I get people that like give me completely like, if they want to help me, it's like a, ooh, like, by the way, sweetie, here's this advice I have for you, and you should do this, that, and the other. And it's like, why are you calling me sweetie and like baby and sweetheart and stuff? Like, stop. It's so weird. I take screenshots of all these emails and I usually just mark the person as spam. But like, it does make me worry for my safety sometimes, the things people say. That's definitely, I get way more than like, I do occasionally get people that are like, you know, like YouTube comments every once in a while, like maybe once a month, once every 2 months. I'll get some guy that's like, my name is Master Rick, and this person is a fake sub. She's way too strong spoken to be an actual submissive. Like, I get somebody that'll like, they'll say they're like a lifestyle master or whatever, and they'll say that I can't be a submissive because, I guess I don't talk like a mouse when I make YouTube videos, and so I... Apparently, if you're submissive, you must not be able to speak up at your job or you can't be submissive. Like that would be like, imagine if like a submissive is like an office worker and like every time you spoke on the phone you were like, yes, Sorry, excuse me, I just have something. May I interrupt, please? Like, could you imagine if you had to do that in order to qualify as being submissive in your day job? Like, not even doing BDSM as part of your job, but doing it just like, and somebody went, oh, well, you're not literally a doormat everywhere in life, and so therefore you can't be submissive. The silliness, really. It's the silliness for me. I bet if you message them, the Kitten Collection would be able to make a matching wrist ankle cuff set. I would guess. Excuse me. Oh no. Okay. I was like, what's happening? Okay, it's like not letting me scroll in the chat. Like I can't literally I can't scroll. What is happening, YouTube? Oh my gosh. Okay. Sorry, please just work. I'm just trying to read the chat. I'm just trying to read the chat. Oh no. Okay. Oh, don't mess with the Oh, I see what happened. It yeeted me to the bottom of my YouTube chat because I got too many comments, but it's literally I can't scroll anywhere.
Mr. Beansman donated $5.
Oh no.
As someone who had a very heteronormative upbringing, has only been really introduced to poly from the BDSM community, do you have any advice for determining if poly is something for me?
I actually think that reading books is a really good way of learning about polyamory. There are definitely YouTube videos and people who talk about polyamory online, but to be honest, a lot of the people I know that have made YouTube videos, like they kind of give me like hippie cult vibes. They're kind of the like I'm so energetically aligned and like my chakras in like a really good like spiritual plane right now. Like they kind of it's like I don't know, feels kind of like a yoga cult thing. But there are a lot of really great books that talk about polyamory. If you're trying to figure out if any kind of open relationship would work for you, I would probably read 2 books. I would start with Opening Up, which is I think by Tristan Tormino. And that one I like because it explores a lot of different possibilities of different types of open relationships, and a lot of the poly books that are out there are just like it has to be this way, you have to do this and this and this, and if you don't do this it's going to fail and you're going to hurt people, and they're very prescriptive with like what you have to do, whereas Opening Up is more an exploration of many different types of relationships. And if I remember correctly, and it's been like 5 years since I've read this, so grain of salt, I think they have a story in there about like a poly BDSM relationship as well. And Tristan Taormina is also in the kink lifestyle, so like the way that she writes about stuff is very like kink aware. The other book I would read is a book called Poly Secure, and that is about attachment and like in a like the psychological like attachment theory sense of the word attachment. And polyamory, which I think if you're somebody that maybe has like mental health issues, or you feel like you have an attachment disorder, like you have maybe anxious attachment or something like that, that can be a good book to read, because that can kind of help you explore if you were in a good place like in terms of mental health for getting into polyamory, if that's any sort of a question. But I like Opening Up as sort of a survey of lots of different options of like swinging, triads, you know, hierarchical poly, non-hierarchical poly, like kind of giving you a sense of what's out there versus like, unless you do relationship anarchy, you're doing it wrong, which is like how a lot of things tend to come across otherwise. So that's my recommendation if you're looking for understanding that a little bit better. But like, I'm not really in a lot of like polyamory community places because I just feel like I don't need it, to be honest. I'd much rather be hanging out with people that are kinky and BDSM and, well, obviously kinky and synonymous, but like kinky and polyamorous versus just polyamorous because I don't necessarily have a lot in common with like vanilla poly people, you know? Especially because like I feel like if you're in a scenario where you're dating someone that's in an otherwise like vanilla poly relationship, that's definitely an axis that can create jealousy, is if like you're the special BDSM partner and no one else does poly with them or does BDSM with them, right? Ticket Black has a super chat. They say, do you by chance have a specially regimented diet before playing in a dungeon? What do you do to physically prep for a scene? I don't necessarily have like a special diet before I play in a dungeon. I try not to eat anything too heavy. Like I eat food, but I try to eat earlier in the day so I have time to digest before I go play. So I usually tend to eat sort of between lunch and like a regular dinner time, so like maybe like 4. So that way I have like, 4 hours or so to digest before I start playing, which I think is a good idea, because if you eat right before, it can cause some issues. Yeah, I was gonna recommend the ethical slut, but I actually feel like as a way to determine if polyamory is right for you, that is a very particular type of poly and a very particular motivation for being poly, isn't because it's literally called the ethical slut, right? So that kind of implies sort of more of an openness from like a sex direction, which is maybe not necessarily what somebody might be looking for. But I do think it is worth reading in the general list of things. It's definitely a classic, but not the only option. I think the big thing that people forget is being hydrated. Like, okay, make sure you eat beforehand, get enough sleep. Sort of think about it like you would think about prepping for like a big sports game. If you ever played like competitive sports in school or something, like, have a good meal the night before, get hydrated, make sure you're well rested. Don't drink excessively before you go, like that kind of thing. I think if you're feeling nervous, if there's something in particular that relaxes you, like taking a bath or, having some tea or something, like make sure you have that time to relax yourself if it's going to be like you're nervous or anxious or something. But staying hydrated, I think, is the big thing that people forget to do. Because it's just really easy to forget to prioritize drinking water, but it is really important, and especially if you are bottoming and it ends up being really hot and like crowded in the dungeon, you can definitely get like, and I've gotten like dehydration headaches and headaches in general just from, not drinking enough water. And especially with like, if you're playing in person, you probably have to be playing with a mask on currently if you're in most places in the country, and so like it's hard to just like casually be sipping water because you have to take your mask off to do that, and so it's kind of supposed to be more limited, I guess. OMG, yes, hydrate. I'm always pushing that on my friends no matter what they're doing. No one seems to drink as much as they should. Oh, I definitely don't. Like, I'm saying this because I know it's a problem because I don't do it enough. I drink water and stuff when I stream, but I definitely don't do it enough every day. It definitely gets put on my my back burner, and I'm trying to fix that, but when you're not used to doing it, it is a new skill you have to teach yourself to do. I've met a lot of caregivers in the CGL, which is caregiver little for those who don't know, community, who really seem to like the aesthetic of littles, but not so much the lifestyle side of age play. The aesthetic isn't something I care about at all, and I'm finding it hard to find people who enjoy age play as a lifestyle and not as a sexual or visual aesthetic. That I'm sure is a problem a lot of people resonate with. I actually had somebody tell me earlier today on a phone call that apparently, and this is funny, I'm gonna talk about porn for a second, FYI. So if you go to like the front page of Pornhub or like most porn websites, it's all fucking incest roleplay. Like it's all like stepdaughter getting fucked by stepdad, like step sibling gangbang, like shit, like right, like that's from what, having not seen this directly myself, but hearing about it from other people and seeing the search results for most popular searches for porn or whatever, like that's like been the predominant thing for a couple of years in porn. That's like on the front page everywhere. And apparently if you search for CGL or DDLG or like caregiver little or whatever, it'll like basically be like, hey, we think you need help. Like it'll like redirect you from like, it's like the same thing that like Google does or Instagram does if you look up like self-harm stuff, where it's like, hey, are you doing all right? Like it's like, let me get this straight. So your whole fucking front page is nothing but incest porn, but when you search for caregiver little or look up like DDLG, that's a boundary. Like, isn't that already what you had? But what's the difference? What's the difference? I feel like it's really, it can't be that big of a difference, right? But yeah, that is so funny to me. Of course, they were in Europe, so I don't know if that has something to do with like I don't know, maybe it's European internet censorship stuff. I haven't actually checked myself to see if this happens on US internet, on our good old freedom.org www.freedom.edu. But yeah, it's apparently a thing that happened. But anyways, getting back to the subject of like meeting caregivers and finding people that have that same principle, not being somebody who's a little, I don't have any personal experience trying to find someone like that for myself, but I have certainly heard from other people that it can be very difficult, especially if you're like a female submissive looking for a heterosexual BDSM relationship with a male top. We actually watched a video on Patreon yesterday that was from a guy that was like 3 amazing punishments for your whatever, and like it was about BDSM, but it was from a guy that like I swear is like a pickup artist, but he doesn't say he's a pickup artist. He's just a sex coach, which is like, that's a red flag in and of itself for me these days. But all of the punishments were like really sexual. They were like, okay, so you have to punish her by putting her panties in her vagina, and then after you've brewed them in her vagina for a couple hours, then you put the panties in her mouth. And it's like, and my first thought was, can you get toxic shock syndrome from putting dyed panties in your vagina? Because if you are not a vagina owner, you don't know this, tampons, for example, are very dangerous to leave in for an extended period of time, like, you know, like a day or longer, or whatever it is. I don't really have to use period products because I like skip 90% of all my periods because yay Nuva rings. But I have like, that's always the thing you're told, right? Is like, hey, don't leave your tampons on for too long because it can give you like what's known as toxic shock syndrome. And so like leaving things like that in your vagina for a really long period of time that are meant to be there is generally a bad idea. So I'm like, wait, what? Anyways, that was my first thought there. And then he also suggested putting melted ice cubes in the vagina, and then also melted ice cubes in a bra. And then what was the last thing he suggested? Oh, it was just orgasm denial. It was just like you edge her with your hand and then you don't let her come, and that's punishment. I'm like, there are some people where the only reason they do BDSM is sex. And personally, I feel like if you're doing punishments and you as the dom are sexually getting off to them, you're not doing punishments correctly, because punishments should not be a sexual reward for the dominant, because that creates a really perverse incentive for the dom to punish more for arbitrary reasons, because they get to do hot things they don't normally get to do in other ways in the relationship. My 2 cents there. Yeah, the meat hammer. Fucking, he called a vagina the love cave, and then he referred to a penis as. I'm not afraid to say these words. I'm not a fucking sex coach. I'll say the names. He called a penis, his long spicy meat hammer. You can't make it up. Long spicy meat hammer. The straights are not okay. They're not okay. Oh yeah, love cave. Yeah, that broke me. That was really early in the video too. That was like 2 minutes in. But it's hard to find people that are legitimately into BDSM for like non-sexual reasons. Because even all the studies I've read, like they refer to it as a sex act. Like academically, personally, most people think about BDSM as a sex act. And so it's hard to find people that, there's a spectrum, right? Like there are people that only ever do BDSM as a part of intercourse. There are people that only do BDSM, if it's going to lead to some kind of sexual release. For other people, it's mentally always sexual, even if it doesn't result in an orgasm. But usually for a lot of people, especially for male dominance, it tends to have some kind of sexual leaning to it. And that's the primary motivator. So I understand the difficulty with that and I empathize with it, but I don't, other than just continuing to meet people, there's not really an easy solution other than for me to be like, yep, I feel that and it sucks. I would imagine that's if you're going to a really specialized event or group where it's for caregivers and littles, ran by caregivers and littles, and not just like a general BDSM event where somebody's like, yeah, I could be a daddy, right? You're probably going to have more luck in those environments because it's sort of self-selecting for the people that are most strongly identified with that. But even then, obviously, there's going to be the people that are like, they like the look of pacifiers. They think pastel clothing is cute or whatever. But they're not necessarily into the practical of it. And like obviously if you're somebody who's like visually impaired or blind, like the actual like visual aesthetic of it matters less, I would bet. And it really goes down to like actually doing the thing, Cishet male doms have really driven a lot of how at least straight BDSM happens, so a lot of it is massively sexualized. I always wonder, like, is it from the inside out or is it from the outside in? Because I feel like it gets overly sexualized in both directions. Like, both in the sense that, like, because male dominants tend to be more sexually motivated with things, they emphasize sex in what they do and they talk about it a lot. But then also, I was talking about earlier, right? There's this new romance novel adaptation on Netflix, and it's about a pro-dom, like, in a sexual relationship and stuff. Or, like, 50 Shades of Grey, or 365 Days, or I'm sure there's other ones that I'm missing, right? Like, usually when you see BDSM in media, it's a sexual romantic relationship. And it's sex first, and then romance, and then BDSM, sort of in that order. And that, I think, is kind of what is most comfortable for heterosexual people to interface with, because that's, like, what relationships are supposed to look like. Massive air quotes around all of that. And so people are just, like, most at ease consuming that, even if it's not necessarily everyone's reality, How does one find virtual munches? FetLife. We did just talk about finding people on Facebook, or not people, but groups on Facebook. But I don't know anything about that, so if you guys do stuff on Facebook for BDSM, put something in the chat over there, right, or in a comment below. But FetLife is really gonna be most events, at least. So, and there are, what is it, Mall, I think is what it is, which is the Munch and Lifestyle link. I don't remember what the abbreviation for it is, but that is like an outside directory off FetLife that will also tell you where things are. Right at the part we're talking about the shrug emoji. Okay, so Corwin says, bi, leaning mask, relatively newly out trans guy. Congrats, we love it. We love living our truth. Oh shit, it scrolled too far. 46 and really struggling to find any kinky partners. Never had any. Oh my god, stop scrolling. Now I don't want it to scroll and it's scrolling too much. What is going on with the YouTube chat today? It's just the YouTube's broken, I guess. I just want to read one. I just want to read one chat message. Maybe it's just me today. Maybe we just have too many tabs open. Here we go. Really struggling to find any kinky partners. Never had any real issues when presenting as a woman. Any tips? Thanks for your work, Evie. Also a patron. Yeah, so if there are any queer specific munches or meetups or BDSM events or parties, whatever, I would really, really, really go to those if you could. I have volunteered at the queer-oriented parties, and like they explicitly say ace people are allowed, but I feel more comfortable volunteering in those spaces versus like being in them as like a participant, personally. But I think that will be an easier way. And I also don't know if you're submissive leaning or a switch or a dom or how you identify as far as that's concerned. But I think you probably would have more luck finding kinky partners in like a more queer-oriented space if that's available to you. Something I haven't mentioned yet so far is like personal ads. Because personal ads are a thing on FetLife. Depending on where you live, they are varying levels of useful. Some places, there's a really good, well-organized, well-moderated group on FetLife for local personal ads. Other times, it's a dumpster fire full of people looking for unicorns and gangbangs and getting secretly, knocked up by somebody, bareback, sex, whatever, crazy fiesta. So varying levels of useful. If there is a good group in your area for posting personals, definitely don't be afraid to post there as well if you do have a FetLife account. And that can be a good way to reach out to people that you might not otherwise interact with and meet with. But if it's a group where it's more in the like, oh, people are just looking for hookups on this and like NSA sex, then not going to be the best option, but there could be other options out there. And like Discord chats as well. There might be somebody organizing like a Discord chat or a group chat in your area, even if they're not necessarily doing munches and other things like that. But yeah. I need to go to this party. Wait, what party? No, you don't want to go to this. No, okay, this is the thing though. This is my advice to you. If somebody on FetLife is like, we're organizing a gangbang at the Marriott Hotel on 45th Street and be there at 3 o'clock, room 102. Like, that is going to be a fucking FBI raid. I swear to God. Like, that's the feds. They're looking for sex criminals. Don't go there. That's how you're going to get sex trafficked. It's a really bad idea, okay? Or it's going to be you and one other person is going to be really awkward because no one actually ever goes to those. I have to say it because like some people might think it's like a good idea to go, and I have to be like, but actually don't though. Yes, your dollar donation message does count as a super chat. So if you do go through super chat, it does automatically go up there. If you donate through YouTube, I have to like edit the number later, basically to make sure it's added to the total. I'm really lucky I don't really drive anywhere, so the $5 a gallon gas does not necessarily affect me too much. I remember when I was a kid and like $100 would feed my family of 4 for like 2 weeks. When I was in college, I used to shop primarily at like this discount, like big grocery store that was basically like cheap Costco. And I could get groceries for a month or at least like 3 weeks on $100. I cannot do that anymore. I can do like probably like $50 a week is kind of like currently where my budget is at, which isn't bad. Like I looked at my budget a couple days ago. 70% of my income is fucking rent and you know, my car payment and student loan payment right now, but like that's fine. Like, you know, luckily I don't have to pay my student loan payment, you know, at least until was like March or April, I think is the next time I technically have to pay, but you know, that's life. But I don't really like, I don't buy coffee, I don't buy alcohol, I don't go to Starbucks or whatever, I don't order out food. So like I'm pretty frugal as far as the money spending is concerned. I just like buying secondhand clothing. That's my thing. There were really cute shoes that are on the Jeffrey Campbell website. There's one of them that has bat wings on them and I really want them, but I cannot justify right now spending $185 on a pair of bat wing shoes that I'm probably not going to be able to wear anywhere for another 3 months. So, sadness. Could you talk about broaching the topic of play relationships with people based strictly on friendship, not necessarily physical attraction? I would love to do that. That is a great question. So I have an older video. Not actually that old, maybe like a year and a half old, maybe 2 years at this point. Not actually that old. Where I talk about platonic BDSM. If you haven't watched that, I would watch it because I kind of talk about like, how can you do BDSM if it's platonic? How does that work? And it's like totally a thing. It's totally doable. And what I would say is I would just be really clear with your intentions, I think. If you have somebody that you, I feel like I've drifted farther away. I'm gonna get closer. There we go. That's better. I just be honest. Like, if you're like, hey, I really like you as a friend. I would love to do something just as friends. Try some flogging. Is that something you would want to do too? And I know that some people might still take that as like, oh, well, they're saying they want to be friends with me, but they don't really want to. They're just saying that as like a way to sort of break down the friend zone wall or whatever. But hopefully people won't think that as like the only reason why you would want to do something is to secretly get in the back door of friendship to lovers, you know, route. But, I think it depends on if you've seen them play before. Like, if you've gone to a dungeon together and you know they do, like, pick-up play and they do play casually with other people, then I feel like that conversation is a lot easier where it's like, hey, I'd love it if you, like, your flogger seems really cool. Can we, like, try it out sometime? I kind of want to know what that feels like. And that should be fine. But if it's like, if you're both playing privately and you legitimately are just friends and they normally only do BDSM with, like, romantic partners, then that's a harder conversation where I think you have to also figure out if they would be comfortable doing BDSM just as friends, because they might not be into that necessarily. They might think, well, I like doing BDSM, but I only do it romantically, so we can't play together because that would like change how I feel about you, or that would be awkward for me, or whatever else. So I would broach it more like in that scenario, as in like, hey, how do you feel about the idea of like doing BDSM, like just as friends? Have you ever thought about doing something like that before? And you can kind of gauge whether or not they're comfortable with that, because for some people it's like, I could never imagine doing BDSM unless we were dating, and that's fine, but you have to know where you stand on that. I look awesome. Thank you. I am liking the look today. I did my eyeliner a little bit bigger than I normally did it. Normally I stop at the end of my eyebrow tail, and I made it a little bit bigger than I normally do, and I think I like that. I probably do this look for like streams more often, but like probably not for every day. Probably a little too much for every day. No, I hate this. This is driving me. I just want to just get rid of this. There we go. Get it on my face. Oh, but then it just looks like my hair. What have I done? There we go. I'm going bananas over here. All right. All right. Welcome to me going crazy about my hair. It's a very entertaining live stream. I think I finally succeeded in fixing my nail polish, thank God. All right, I will now tentatively attempt to scroll. I think we have like 10 more minutes, so if you have not asked your question yet, definitely please do that. If you want to make sure I get to your question, do a super chat. Down there, you can see it right as an option in the live stream chat, or you can go to the Streamlabs link also in the description box, and it will very nicely and in a cute voice read out your message for me, and it's very fun. Oh, they have stolen in Portuguese? Oh, I didn't know that. What is your favorite candy? I recently learned how to make vegan fudge, and I'm not normally a fudge person, but I think just the fact I could make it myself made it my favorite temporarily. I used to really like chocolate, like cordials, like cherry cordials are really good. The peanut butter inside part of like a Butterfinger, those are good. Sour gummy worms. I don't really eat a lot of like candy. I definitely have like sweets and chocolate like that, but I definitely go for baked goods more than I go for like traditional candy. You know what? I do like chewy like fruit candy, like fruit rope, and like the licorice that doesn't actually taste like licorice. It's like a, you know, strawberry flavor, whatever. That is good, and I do like that. But I in terms of sweet stuff, candy is like here, and then like baked goods are here, you know. The number one stereotype I don't understand is men having to be strong and masculine 100% of the time. What is wrong with some softness? That I think is so true. I think we're kind of expanding our definition of masculinity, which I love, and I think that's great for people because the current definition means men can wear 4 colors and 2 haircuts. It's like imagine if you were designing an NPC in a video game and you only had 2 options for hair and 3 colors for your outfit. Wouldn't that be the worst? That would be so boring. And I feel like there's so much pressure to conform to a very certain sort of archetype, and I will be happy if we can let that go, because if you go off of like conversations that happen in the manosphere, right, in like incel, red pill, MGTOW, pickup artist land, and the horrors that are contained therein, like if you listen to them, like unless you have a cut jawline and you're ripped and you have nice clothing and can grow a full beard and like trim it, and you're 6 foot at least, like if you don't have all of those qualities, you might as well just like lay down in a ditch. And because no woman will ever want you unless you can fit these. And it's funny because like there's a lot of these things that I think men care more about for other men than like what women actually want. And I'm asexual, so take what I have to say with a huge grain of salt. But look, like with my female friends, you know, for the most part, what we want is somebody that we are like politically aligned with, we're emotionally compatible with, we have similar hobbies and interests. Like we're not going to be like, well, you know what, you're actually only 5'11" instead of 6'1" like you said you were, and so like now we can't date. Like that's just like most people, it's like the actual like intimate connection of the emotional aspect of the relationship and having shared interests and views and hobbies is way more important than some arbitrary characteristic of like having a cut jawline or having perfect hair or whatever. Like most people they want somebody who's hygienic, somebody that's introspective, somebody that, you know, maybe has a steady job, you know, somebody who's dependable, and somebody that's like compatible with them, like emotionally, intellectually, and so on, rather than being like, and I mean, there are people, especially people that only want hookups, that are like, I only date men who are 6 foot or taller. And like, I guess that's like, you're allowed to have those preferences, but making it seem like all the women only care about this is like objectively untrue. Because, you know, the women in my life, especially those of us who are, you know, approaching the settling down age and like, you know, wanting to get married, maybe have kids or whatever, like we're not like, well, you see, my husband has to be at least 6 foot, so I can't date him. Like, we're like, we just want to find a guy who's like reliable, steady, keeps their word, keeps their fucking house clean, is personally hygienic, and like isn't a fucking conservative. Like those are the things, right? Those are the main things, as opposed to like I think there's sort of people, they say it's about women, but really it's about like hierarchy in comparison to other men. I think more so. And it's like, first of all, why are a bunch of men on the internet saying what women want? Because, like, if you ask women on Twitter, like, it's the same thing with penises. It's the same thing with penises. Like, men all think amongst each other that women want huge dicks. No, they don't. They want possibly a mildly above average penis. But nobody wants a 10-inch long dick because vaginas are not that long. Like, even fully aroused, like, this is the thing, is the genitals co-evolved to work together. We're not ducks. This isn't an arms race of genitals. I didn't think this is how I was going to end this stream, but here we are. Do you, like, depending on where you're from in the world, generally speaking, the length of the penis and the length of an aroused vaginal canal co-evolved to be a similar length. And so the average length of a vagina is around the average length of the penis. And like, there's variation in there, and the same, there's variations of the length of a penis. But if you have extra penile length, it's either outside of the vagina and not stimulating anything, or it's ramming into your cervix, which is about 50-50 of people like that or not. I know some people that are masochists that like love that shit, and other people like find it really uncomfortable, or they find it uncomfortable when they're ovulating or when they're on their period or whatever. And also, like, the length of the vaginal canal changes over the course of a cycle. Like, it's more about, and women have been saying this, my friends have been saying this, people on Twitter have been saying this, people on every social media have been saying this for fucking years. It's about knowing how to use it, not being a selfish lover, and like just owning what you got and like knowing how to use it. That's really what it is. And also the person it's attached to. Because if you have a shit personality and a 9-inch long dick, like that's not going to get you very far in life. Like, you know, having an average penis is fine. Like maybe extra girth is like more what people want. But like men are over here talking about like, oh, women all want a 9-inch dick. I'm like, nobody wants that. It's visually like good to see in porn, I guess. But like, who's the main audience for porn? Men. Like, you know, oh, it's just so funny to me. It's so funny to me, the things that people, they're like, anything to avoid. Because you can't, this is the thing, you can't change these things about yourself. It's easier to be like, women only want men that are 6 foot tall. Women only want men that have 8-inch long dicks. Women only want men, blah, blah, blah. As opposed to the thing you can actually change about yourself. Like developing good habits and, you know, learning how to hold a conversation and having hobbies besides playing fucking Call of Duty all day. Like, you know, and playing video games or whatever is fine. I have to speak down about that. But like, there are things about yourself that you can change to be more appealing to other people. But if you only focus on the things about yourself you cannot change, it's way easier to go, well, I tried everything. Women just hate me. And it's like, that's not really what it is. Anyways, sorry, I turned this into a rant about, fucking incel culture has poisoned people into thinking certain things about dating that are just not true. Like, there are women who care about certain things, but none of that like fucking matters if you're like a shit human being that's manipulative and self-centered and not introspective and lazy. Like, that's more of a turn off, especially when women get to like sort of a period in their life, and not saying that all women get to this point, but like if you are in a point in your life where you're looking for like a long-term life partner that you want to settle down with, you want to invest in, like, who are you going to choose? The person you're emotionally compatible with, or the person that's 2 inches taller? Probably the first person. But no, all women care about is hypergamy. And I was like, oh my god, no one actually consulted women when they wrote any of this shit. It's just like ridiculous. A lot of guys, I've tried nothing and I'm all out of ideas. Well, you see, if you're in a space where your negative ideas are constantly reinforced and you're being told it's not your fault, you don't have to do anything, women are just bitches, women are picky, women only, the thing is, like, the other thing they say, women only care about money. I'm like, there's a difference between just wanting somebody to make money because you want to brag that you're dating somebody who makes a lot of money, and like the practical thing of like, I want, like, and this other thing, I think sort of men care about this maybe more than women do, is I've had more problems, even though I don't care and I don't mind, dating men that make less money than me, because me making more money makes them insecure and they think it takes away from their masculinity. Even if I don't personally care, it compromises their confidence and it compromises their self-esteem, and that negatively affects the relationship more so than them literally having like less money, right? A lot of people are like, oh, well, women only care about men that make a lot of money or whatever. And I'm like, well, usually it's not really about that. It's sort of in the, like, I just want you to be able to be consistent and pay rent and, being in a place where you can have like a stable long-term relationship, and like being able to have something that has stability to it versus like, I don't know, just, what do they think? They're like, women be shopping, I guess. That's what they just think it comes down to, women be shopping, I think. That's really what it is. Wait, what if it is actually longer? I have a friend whose penis I've never seen. Let me establish that. But by reputation, apparently has a quite long penis. And from what I understand from his long-term partners, it is a problem. And they specifically started doing anal because it turns out the anal cavity is usually longer than vaginal canals are. And until you get around, like, the curve that when you're getting into the transverse colon and stuff, there is a limit to how long things can go, unless you're like a serious hardcore anal person. But in any case, they started doing anal because it was easier to actually like get the full penis in there than putting it in the vagina. It was actually more comfortable because the limitations of the vaginal canal. Actually, men that have very large penises, like 10, 11, 12 inches, like they have worse dating lives than men that have like 5-inch penises or 4.5-inch penises, because like there's like, at some point there's nothing you can do. Like, if you have a smaller penis, there's much more on the table. Like, they make cock sheaths, they make options for enhancing what you've got, but you can't take away. Like, it's much harder to take away than it is to add on. Yeah, it's I don't know if that's actually the question you were asking. Yes, we're still live. We started a couple of minutes late and I'm ranting about penises, so I feel like I have to finish this. This rant is gonna get my whole channel in trouble, I feel like. Just having girls in my friend group when I was in middle school was really helpful, helped me avoid the whole world of BS. Yeah, I just like, do people not have sisters? Do you never have female friends? Like, how do you get to a point in your life where you believe all these things about women, where you're like, all women want this, all women are like this? Exactly. Bad dragon. They make options. You get a harness, do a little DP. If you care that much about sex and you're not intimidated by sex toys, there are things you can do. I'm sorry that we've gotten all the way to the end of the chat. I missed so many things. Oh no, the chat's freezing up again. Oh yeah, there's the ONA, but like that also like has its limitations, right? Like if you're talking about your dick is 6 inches too long, there's only so much you can do with that, you know? There's a point where it is too much. What's an FTL? I know I know what an FLR is, female-led relationship. Is that a full time? What does that mean? FLR. Okay, female-led relationship. I have no idea actually. I would go to Morgan Thorne's channel. That's Thorne spelled with an E at the end. She is an ex-pro dom that's also a lifestyle female dom. And she would definitely know more about that. I've never been in a female-led relationship. I don't really know anything about that side of BDSM from a personal front. So if somebody here knows more about that than I do, feel free to put it, you know, in the chat, in a comment down below. Because I am not sure if there are websites for just female-led relationships, but I could be wrong. Oh, okay, this you guys can't even necessarily reply to this. Says, why do I feel like guys care more about dick size than girls? Because generally that's true. There was actually a really funny post that somebody I follow on Twitter shared that was like, a guy, can I say this on YouTube? I'm gonna say it, and then I don't know. I can't remember exactly what it said, but it was essentially like, a guy just asked me if I came, after I titty fucked him, and now I can only think about that. So basically, what had happened is that this woman had masturbated her boyfriend using her breasts, and then afterwards he was like, "Oh, did you come?" And it's like, was the clit involved? There are people that can come just from nipple stimulation. However, fucking the audacity of like, what's the minimum effort I can put in to see if my partner will come? And will it happen if it's just like, the person was focusing on their own orgasm and then was like, oh, by the way, did you happen to come? And it's like, I am sure there are talented people that can make that happen without thinking about their partner's pleasure at all in the process. But sometimes effort is necessary. I had to get COVID in order to be awake at 4 a.m. and watch the live stream actually live. Well, you know what? Silver lining, right? I mean, I think most people put in minimum effort to get their partners to come unless they're like enjoying the process of having sex. So I'm not necessarily particularly calling that person out, but I think it is symptomatic of like how a lot of people approach like vanilla heterosexual sex is just like oh, by the way, did you happen to come? I mean, I wasn't really paying attention while it happened, but like, I just want to make sure that I don't have any further obligations. It's like how it comes across sometimes. I'm confused about female BDSM. What about it is confusing for you? Let me explain. Like that odd couple on that video where they hug really intensely to achieve orgasm. Wait, what was that? When did that happen? What? I don't know what is that? I've never heard of that before. I believe you. I feel like I have a vague memory of that being a viral video, but I cannot recall any specifics of it. Okay, but like literally what is happening YouTube with the chat, because I'd really like to see what people are saying. Oh, good. I've heard really differing stories about how people are responding to the booster shot, but I'm glad that it's working for you. Oh, there's people talking outside. I was like, what is that? Yes, do not be afraid of using dildos. People do not use dildos enough, I feel like. They don't feel exactly like a penis, I imagine, but you get a blindfold and enough lube, anything's possible. If you do enough mindfuckery, anything's believable. The reason they're writing it is because they don't talk to women. A lot of them don't believe male-female platonic friendships. Oh, that's fucking a thing. That's, I feel like that's the source of like all of these issues, is the belief that men and women are incapable of being friends. And that blows my mind because I have the opposite experience where I'm like, why can't we all be friends? Like, why is that a barrier? But there are some people that are so sex driven to the point I would almost call them sex crazed, where they are unable to view women as anything other than potential fuck partners. And I feel like that's a really negative way to interact with the world. Like, can you imagine if the only way you interacted with other people of the opposite sex was like, are you fuckable or not? If that was like the primary first thought you had interacting with somebody of the opposite sex all the time, was like, fuckable? Yes or no? And if they're not, then you don't interact with them anymore. And if yes, you're always trying to find that angle of like, ooh, how can we make sex happen? I just feel like that has to be really unhealthy, you know? Like, how do you operate? Like, how do you have coworkers of the opposite sex when that's your mentality? How do you function? One or more of my items was not available. Oh no. What was it I didn't get? Sorry, I'm looking at my grocery order to make sure it's not going to be stuck outside. Oh no, my tomatoes. That's sad. No tomatoes for me. Oh well. I mean, they were $3 of tomatoes, so maybe I didn't need them. Maybe that would have been too many tomatoes. Not sure how much you can talk about it on here, but any tips on post-orgasmic torture? Is that the same thing as orgasm torture? Or is that like a particular question for you? Because I could talk about this, but I'm not sure what you mean. Because there's orgasm torture, which is where you make somebody come again and again and again, and that gets uncomfortable, which is usually done with people that have like clitorises. But the way that that is phrased makes you think it's like something you do with somebody who has a penis after they've ejaculated, because I know for a lot of people with penises, they get really sensitive after like in post-orgasm thing, and they can be really uncomfortable or really sensitive, but maybe not. I think there's a difference between cherry and grape tomatoes, but I'm not sure. TBH, my interest in feet led me further research into foot massage and reflexology, and it's been genuinely helpful as a conversation, essentially not sexual. Oh yeah, like I think there's lots of ways to engage in like sensual things, like physically with your partner, that aren't sexual. Whether it be foot rubs, back massage, head scratching, anything in that sort of realm, like cuddling, spooning, whatever else. Like, I think those can all be really great ways of having intimate contact that doesn't have to lead to sex. Okay, I know we're out of time basically. So I will answer one more question and then I will end it because I need to be I'm awaiting. I'm going to get almond milk so I can make scones. And as soon as I get milk, I'm going to make scones, and that's what I'm going to do. Oh, YouTube. So many messages are getting held for review. And it's like, I don't even know why. It's like somebody said misogyny in a message and that got held, and I was like, they were just saying that misogyny was bad. Like, why did the message saying misogyny bad get held back? But to answer that one, yes, a lot of sex coaches are really just professional misogynists, I think. A lot of my videos have been taken down. No, they haven't. I mean, my live streams don't stay up for forever, but like most of my, like, I've only taken down like maybe 3 of my videos ever. Ooh, you're gonna make brownies? That sounds fun. Online dating. Oh, that's true. Yeah, I think online dating. I don't know if there's any queer specific dating apps. I'm sure there are, but that could be a really good option. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why it flagged that for, like, literally. I was gonna say something similar to women wanting something to ram into their cervix. Well, exactly. That got, I don't know. It's probably because it said ram into cervix, but that also got flagged. I met my husband on eHarmony. Listen, I think we are far past the time of judging people for finding online relationships. I think online relationships and dating apps are so necessary in today's day and age. Agree, the attitudes towards what women want from men, from those men's perspective, is often way more about men hierarchies and placement within them. Yeah, we agree. Do you like gummy frogs or sharks? Gummy worms, actually. I don't think I've ever had gummy frogs or gummy sharks. I feel like we should not be shaming people for their kink practices. Some people generally don't have an interest in non-sexual kink. Some people only want non-sexual, many in between. Oh, no, I'm not shaming people for wanting sexual BDSM. I think that's fine. I just think that if you are, it can be really hard to find people that do genuinely want non-sexual BDSM and practice that, as opposed to just agreeing to it because they'd rather have that than kind of get their foot in the door to getting what they want later. But I think if you want sexual BDSM, that is the majority. That is the easiest way to find a partner. You're probably going to have an easier time meeting people that way than somebody that only wants something non-sexual. And so, like, no shame either way. Just be, like, honest and upfront about what you want, and don't, like, agree to do something non-sexual, but, like, be expecting sex, like, farther down the line. I mean, I do like meeting people in person and stuff. Like, that's just, like, so hard, especially with, you know, coronavirus and places being closed and people just generally being more closed off. Anyways, okay. I need to wrap up for today, guys. Oh, yeah, okay. I didn't see that it was in the chat, but I'm happy to clarify, like, it just in case, because I'm sure somebody could interpret my words that way. I am not for shaming people. I think shaming people, kink shaming is... Oh my gosh! This is so funny. Okay. So I was just checking my... I was like, somebody was saying my YouTube videos were getting removed, and I was like, that can't be true. So very, very funny. So you guys remember, we have reviewed... this is a good way to end the stream, I think, so I'll end it on this. Justine Cross, who is a pro dom we have seen in many YouTube videos, one of whom I reviewed on YouTube, the Anthony Padilla one. And she commented on my video, and she said, "Thank you for reviewing. To answer your question, my flocker is black and silver leather, which is why I look shiny." I think that is great. I'm gonna reply to her. I should have Justine on the channel. Maybe she should be open to an interview. That's amazing. I saw she was commenting on Anthony Padilla's video, like replying to people who had questions. Yeah, that's great. I love it. So now you know. There you go. Justine Cross saw my review of her flogging Anthony Padilla. Yeah, this is great, guys. I had so much fun. Thank you guys for being here. I hope you guys have an amazing weekend. Stay safe, have fun, hydrate, and I will see you next Friday for another live stream. Oh, if you do want to see me before next Friday, I do stream on Twitch. A link to that is down below at EVLupine on Mondays around the same time. I stream starting at 5 on Mondays. So get in right after work, relax after the long day, and hopefully I'll see you there. If not, there will be a video coming out this weekend that'll be all about how many people are actually into BDSM. And until I see you guys then, again, stay safe, have fun, and I will talk to you soon. Bye!